Victor. Victor.
Yeah, we're live now.
Okay, good evening, everyone. And it's exciting. Welcome you to another episode of TechBiz. TechBiz brought to you from the stable of Eco Innovation Center, an innovation center that is focused on pre-incubation and acceleration services here in the city of Lagos at 50 Awolowo Road. And it's committed to helping ventures and startups scale up. That's our obsession. We have some sectors where we look at and where we try to provide as much support for startups as we can. And this happens to be one of the activities that we bring to the ecosystem as our own way of helping ventures and startups to be able to scale up in the ecosystem. And it's a pleasure to have you on TechBiz this evening. TechBiz has been a platform that we've had in the last 2.5 years thereabout. And the platform has been graced by so many subject matter experts who have brought us different insights into different topics that are relevant for startups and SMEs. We've talked about things like, how to scale your business, apps, and building a product and not an app. We spoke about, getting you ready for investment readiness. How do you protect your intellectual property? How do you build teams? And we've had 98 different episodes speaking to all different verticals, the startups and people who are in the business of using technology to scale will find very relevant. So I want to encourage you, if this is your first time of joining us on TechBiz, that you do take some time to go and check on our website. Just go to www.ecoinnovationcenter/webinar or ecoicenter/webinar, and you will find the 98 episodes of TechBiz in there. And feel free to just go through any of the episodes. My colleagues will be dropping the link to that webinar site for you right now, and do make sure that you do explore it. And I think you find it quite exciting. However, should we run through a few of those sessions and at your pace, you have questions you want to ask. We also have created a forum of over 2,000 people who are tech enthusiasts or work in the tech ecosystem, who have created a community where we offer support to each other, about 2,000 in the TechBiz forum. So my colleagues will also drop a link that allows you to be able to link into the TechBiz forum. Use the link and join us, and feel free to ask your questions. Feel free to want to talk to us. It's a Telegram and a WhatsApp group. So each anyone you find convenient, do feel free to be a part of it, because TechBiz, in the last 98 episodes, we've seen it bring tremendous support and hand-holding relevance for the people. Today happens to be an exciting day. It's the 99th episode of TechBiz, and wow, 99th episode. And this speaks to the heart of what we're trying to do and to the heart of what most of my work and my adult life work is about, which is speaking a lot about entrepreneurship. And today, the 99th episode, we are looking at navigating the startup journey, okay? Your 12-step action plan. And it's speaking about the entrepreneurial way of navigating that startup plan. And we have a subject matter expert, which will be coming on board. And I do encourage you, it's a holiday, share the link with others, invite your friends, let them know this is up, and be a part of it, because I'm persuaded that the subject matter expert gracing our platform today will bring justice to this. What are we looking at today? According to study, it tells us that by Startup Genome, it says approximately 90% of startups fail in the first 5 years. What statistics compared to SMEs? SMEs stays 10, startup is 5 years. In Nigeria, I think it might be more, looking at the constraints around which we play. And this statistic is staggering, is scary. And yet we believe that growing into the future, building prosperity for our people, creating a moderating effect of the multidimensional poverty that pervades the country, we need the startups to have a better success outcome. Okay, so in today's webinar, we'll be exploring each stage of the action plan that you need to succeed. We'll look at those actions, we'll look at what you need to do, your go-to-market strategy, your product, your branding, how to manage your people. So whether you're in an early stage of ideation or you already have a startup in progress, this webinar, I promise, will equip you with the knowledge and resource to make informed decision at every junction of the journey of your entrepreneurship work. And we have a subject matter expert who is coming in, and I will quickly be introducing her. So she's an industrious business leader and founded Claire's Advisory Africa, okay, with the aim of supporting to a large extent just entrepreneurship in Africa. And she's got so many laurels under her belt, okay, with extensive experience at Accenture before she moved in 2016. She also has partnerships with banks, other financial institutions to help entrepreneurs and startups be able to access funds. She's a well-resourced person and to a large extent has won so many awards, okay. She's advised numerous African entrepreneurs, and this helped hinder the recognition from the Global MBA Association and being a finalist in the 2017 Africa Entrepreneurship Award. Okay, she's also a process certified change manager, certified business coach, and a published writer in prestigious publications like the Harvard Business Review. So we're not just bringing someone who is reading entrepreneurship lessons and bringing to you. She's practiced this, she's experienced 2016 till now. She's got 7 to 8 years experience doing this, helping entrepreneurs scale. And of course, she's very renowned international speaker and esteemed lecturer with Pan-African University, Lagos Business School, and an advocate for entrepreneurship skills development. Additionally, she also facilitates access to funds for entrepreneurs through strategic partnership, like I had mentioned. Okay, I includes being recognized as one of the and becoming the fan to job business time and to let her quickly do a deep dive in. Everyone, please join me in welcoming Gloria Yinaya as she takes us through this top webinar this evening, navigating the startup journey, your 12-step action plan. Gloria, welcome.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Falabi, for that very rousing introduction. Thank you so much. Yeah.
I'm struggling to see her. I really need to see her beautiful face come up. She's not only very beautiful, she's extremely knowledgeable. Victor, beautiful. Finally, I get to see you, Glory. You can't be speaking, from the photos there. We need to see that it's a combination of not only beauty, it's beauty and brains, competence and capacity. Gloria, welcome to the platform.
Thank you so much, Mr. Falabi, for the kind introduction. Okay, so can I share my screen?
Oh, yes. Please share your screen now as I go through it, and then you can take us through.
All right. Okay, so good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Great.
Hope you're enjoying your holiday. And today, like Mr. Falabi mentioned, we're going to speak on the startup journey, your 12-step action plan. He has already done a good job of introducing me. Like he said, I am popularly known as the digital business growth expert. I started my career at Accenture, where I manage change arising from different digital technologies, Microsoft, SAP, Oracle, Sage, and other bespoke software packages. And if you know, and for people that are familiar with technology would know that the process of gaining adoption for SAP, Oracle, and Microsoft, like an ERP, is similar to the process of gaining adoption for a startup. All technology products, they're all technology products that need to be adopted by your target market. So I have been able to marry my corporate experience with my entrepreneurial experience to achieve adoption for myself and my clients. So I work for clients in oil and gas, public sector, banking, telecoms, and so on. After a while, I decided to go back to LBS, Legal Business School, for my MBA. And I launched an online consulting platform called Close Africa. So since launching Close Africa, I've played several roles in the technology ecosystem, starting from as a faculty member at LB's e-commerce and platform strategy. I also mentor startups, especially most recently through the Keystone Startup Advantage program. My work has been published in the Harvard Business Review, and I'm currently doing a PhD in entrepreneurship with a focus on the fintech industry. So, quick poll of people on the call: what's the part of startup journey for you? Is it understanding entrepreneurship? Is it building your business? If you can just type in the chat which one is the most difficult for you, or which you found most challenging. Number one, if it's type 1, if it's understanding entrepreneurship. Type 2, if it's your business acumen. Type 3, if it's creating an innovative product. Type 4, if it's conducting market research. Type 5, if it's your opportunity. Type 6, if it's feasibility analysis. Type 7, if it's a business plan. Type 8, if it's branding strategy. Type 9, if it's test marketing. 10, if it's team. 11, if it's strategy. And 12, if it's legal. So you can see. Okay, 6, Tolulope, assessing feasibility. Thank you so much. Thanks for sharing. Sumto says 4 and 6, market research and feasibility. Okay, so feasibility is quite a thing for people. Anyone else? Okay, Adozie VA says market research. Okay, so these are all things I'm going to cover in the talk. And so the reason I'm asking is so that I'll know the ones to spend a little bit more time on, because those are the ones that are more important to the audience. So 6, Joshua, Stanley says creating an innovative product and branding strategy. Okay, Olaide Olawuwo says market research, feasibility, and business plan. All right, thank you so much. So I will pay attention and elaborate more on the ones that seem to be more thorny challenges for people on the call. So first of all, understand entrepreneurship, and I will tell this story from the perspective of a female entrepreneur called Embark. Because I find people find stories more engaging because it shows the practicality of what we're discussing. So the first phase, understand entrepreneurship. As a recent computer science graduate, one day after church, she was at home flipping through the Forbes Africa magazine, and then she read the compelling story of a successful female entrepreneur and wondered if she had what it took to be such a successful female entrepreneur. And so she goes on to take an online quiz to determine if she has entrepreneurial qualities. So the first stage in being an entrepreneur, even though it sounds trite, is actually understanding entrepreneurship. And to me, I see entrepreneurship not just as a side hustle or a way to make a living, but as a call to stewardship. Many people want to be entrepreneurs because they want to be their own bosses. But in essence, an entrepreneur is a steward, is a servant to his investors, the servant to his customers, the servant to an extent to his employees and to many key stakeholders. So there are different types of entrepreneurship. Technology entrepreneurship, which most of us here I know are pursuing. So under technology entrepreneurship, we have the Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates of this world. Then we have social entrepreneurs, people like Mohammed Yunus, Mother Teresa, and the Messi Corp, the founder of the Messi, and so on. Then we have regular businesses like restaurants, schools, schools, hospitals, and regular businesses that are not so innovative. So at this point, I'd like us to reflect on the questions. What does entrepreneurship mean to you? Do you have the traits of an entrepreneur? Why do you want to be an entrepreneur? And what type of entrepreneur do you want to be? You can type the answers to these questions in the chat so that we can have an interactive session. Or if you, yes, okay, but I'm not sure you'll be permitted to unmute at this point. Okay, then you also need to assess your entrepreneurial traits. Do you have what it takes? Are you autonomous? A real entrepreneur is someone that has a driving desire to be in charge of whatever he finds himself involved in. An entrepreneur is also a risk taker, not a reckless risk taker, but an entrepreneur takes calculated risks. An entrepreneur has self-belief, so they believe that they're going to be successful, regardless of the challenges, and that leads to resilience. So the entrepreneur will fall down 9 times and get up 10 times, and on the 10th time be a success. Those are some entrepreneurial traits. An entrepreneur also need to know that it's important to avert business failure. The first cause of business failure is managerial incompetence. As an entrepreneur, you need to understand accounting, you need to understand finance, you need to understand law, you need to understand dealing with human beings, you need to understand communication, you need to understand negotiation. I'll talk about this in more detail later on. Another reason for business failure is a lack of experience. So it's always recommended that you start a business in an industry that you're already familiar with. Maybe you work there for some years or so on. Another reason for business failure is lack of capital. You know, when you don't have enough funds to meet your pay your bills, then that leads to failure. And then, of course, as they say, failing to plan is planning to fail. So in the face of all these things that lead to failure, what can you say leads to success? What are the key success factors? Integrity is one. So your reputation, you know, you live and die by your reputation in this industry. So it's very important that you remain someone of integrity. Strategic planning is also very important. You know, for example, in Nigeria today, the government has been making a lot of policies, exchange rates, floating, interest rates, fuel subsidy removal. So you need to be strategic in the face of all these policies and come and ask yourself, you know, how am I going to take advantage of the opportunities and avoid the threats? Lifelong learning. Leaders are learners. So as an entrepreneur, you need to continually keep on top of your game by continuing to learn. Then mentorship. Mentorship is also key. You need mentors. I mentor entrepreneurs through the Shirley Blair Foundation, Flourish Africa, She Leads Africa, and other programs, and even the Eco Innovation Center. I also help to mentor some of the entrepreneurs. So it's very important that you get good mentors that can show you the path to success. And then work-life balance also. Work-life balance is also very key. You need to not burn out by making sure you give adequate time to different elements of life: social, spiritual, health, physical, and other aspects of your life, and not just burn out on the altar of your startup. So action steps for this phase, I'd like you to take a test to determine your entrepreneurial personality. Do you have what it takes to be an entrepreneur? Actually, there's a link there, Entrepreneur Scan, www.entrepreneurscan.com. You can take a free test that will let you know whether you have the traits of an entrepreneur, and will give you action steps to close weaknesses so that your business does not so that your business has the best chances of success. Okay, then the second phase is to build your entrepreneurial acumen. What did Amara do? She registered for a short course on entrepreneurship from a leading business school in Lagos, Riverview Business School. After speaking with the marketing manager, Kelechi, she also took online courses on entrepreneurship, Coursera and edX. In this day and age, there's no excuse for you not to know what you need to know to be a good entrepreneur. If you go to Coursera, edX, all those kind of online platforms, you can get access to tons of courses, sometimes at no cost. Some of them you can apply for financial aid. So sometimes at no cost, you can get access to these courses. And so your question now may be, okay, what courses do you need to take in order to equip yourselves for your entrepreneurial journey? Number one, you need soft skills. And these soft skills, the first one is innovation and creativity. There are so many new trends: AI, machine learning, blockchain, ChatGPT, virtual reality. You need to get on top of all these trends and know what's the impact on your business. How can it facilitate your startup? You also need to be a goal setter. As an employee, someone will tell you what to do, but as an entrepreneur, you need to have goals, you know, that will drive you. So for example, I have lifetime goals, and those lifetime goals are broken down into 5-year goals, which are broken down into annual goals, which are broken down into quarterly goals, and then monthly goals, and then weekly goals, and then daily goals. Don't worry, I won't go into hourly goals and second goals per hour and per second, but you get the drift. Essentially, you need to be self-driven. You need to be someone that takes charge of the direction of your life by setting goals. Then also you need to understand communications. Communications is very, very important. As an entrepreneur, you're always communicating. Today you're on a panel, tomorrow you're talking to an investor, next tomorrow you're talking to an employee, and another time you're at an event, then you're on a webinar. You're all talking. So you need to learn how to communicate well, both written and verbal communication skills. Then you need to take a course in negotiation. In business, you don't get what you negotiate, what you deserve. You get what you negotiate. Let me take that again. In business, you don't get what you deserve. You get what you negotiate. So you need to be on top of your negotiation game. You need to be a good mediator and the conflict and someone that can resolve conflicts. Then what are the hard skills you need to learn? Accounting is key. I studied accounting, and even though I don't practice, I'm not a chartered accountant, but I use the skills every day in my business. Running a startup without keeping records is like playing soccer without keeping score. It's amateurish. It's just like you're playing, you know. So you need to understand accounting. You need to understand personal finance, because when you start a company, you're going to have to be frugal for the first few years, you know, living within your means, which may not be as robust as those of your fellow your friends that work in companies. So you need to learn how to be frugal in those early years. So you need to take a course in personal finance. Business law, you understand the law, you know, contracts, estate planning, registration, ownership of the company, torts. There's so many parts of the law that you need to understand. So it's important so that EFCC does not come after you for lack of compliance. You need to understand the law. So action steps for this phase, just take note of the you may not be able to do all at once, but you know, step by step as your schedule will allow. Try and learn and practice innovation, goal setting, business communication, negotiation, accounting, personal finance, and business law. Okay. Then third phase, creating an innovative product. So how did I create an? I noticed one of the people on the call. So Amara has a weight problem, and she was trying to find a personal trainer. She asked for referrals, but was unable to weigh the efficacy of each of the people that were referred. So maybe someone would say, meet Tom, meet Alice, meet Sharon. But she was like, how do I know that these people are really good? How do I see their ratings and, you know, reviews, similar to like an Uber driver's ratings and reviews, and hear from past customers, so I can judge who is really good and who is worth my investment? And as she was mulling on that, she suddenly said, wow, why don't I start a business like that, a marketplace for personal trainers called Get Fit? And so that's how she came up with her innovative idea. For you, you can use two tools. There are two tools you can use to come up with your innovative product or service. You can use the ACE matrix. ACE matrix, let me type it in the chat. You can, it was a Harvard Business Review Harvard Business School professor that came up with the tool, ACE matrix. So it allows you to pick an existing product and analyze it in a way that you can come up with improvements. So you can look at the positive attributes of the product and then ask yourself, okay, what are the attributes that are non-negotiable in this product? What are the differentiators? That's what differentiates it from its competition, and what are the exciters? What are the things that make me choose this product over others? Then ask yourself also, what are the negative aspects of this product? What is tolerable? What can you just get by with? And what are the dissatisfiers? What are the things that make you regret picking the product vis-a-vis your competitors? And then what are the enragers? Things that just make you give up on the product and just say, in fact, I'm not going to use this product again. So by the time you analyze the product you have in mind using these parameters, you'll come up with a lot of ideas on how to improve it. Another way you can come up with innovative products is observation and using the 5 why technique. So you identify a problem like illiteracy, and then you now ask yourself, okay, why? Why is this problem so endemic? Why, to give an example, why is there illiteracy in Nigeria? Because number one, there's lack of quality education. So why is there lack of quality education? Because there are no schools. Why are there no schools? Because of lack of funding. Why is there lack of funding? Because of budgetary constraints. And why are there budgetary constraints? Because the government has other priorities. So that might give you an idea that, okay, if the government has other priorities other than education, why don't I open an online university that gives people access to online learning and helps reduce illiteracy? So you can use this to brainstorm. You can use the ACE matrix. The action step is to use the ACE matrix and the 5 whys to solutions to endemic problems that are being faced in society. So the first step is initial market research. So what did Amara do? She created a survey and emailed it to her blog followers. I think she has 3,000 blog followers. So she sent them an email, all of them, and asked them whether they would be interested in this Get Fit marketplace. And then from the responses, she could see that there was a market. So for you, what do you do? There's a management consultant called Kenichi Ohimai, and he came up with the 3 C's approach to market research. And he said market research is at the intersection of these 3 questions. Number 1, what does the customer want? Number 2, that the company cannot deliver. Number 3, that the company can offer. Let me take it again. What does the customer want? Number 1, that the competition cannot deliver. Number 2, but that the company can offer. And by the time you integrate all these insights together, you get your gap. So what you can do is you can send out a survey to your followers on LinkedIn, on social media, on Facebook, on Instagram, or your email list, and then describe the product you have in mind. This product that you created in the previous phase, describe it, and then ask them what's their reaction to the product, and then ask them to rate the product's attributes, and then ask them a very important question. What do you need that other companies are yet to provide? And then you can pitch a price point at them and say, well, if this product were available in the market, would you be willing to pay, say, 5K per month to access it? Okay, then the next phase is sizing the opportunity. So what did Amara do? She created an opportunity report for a Riverview class project. Okay, so the opportunity report is has 5 major elements. So first is the description of the opportunity. So now you come up with a product, or you've identified the problem you want to solve, but not every problem is a business opportunity. Let me take it again. Not every problem is a business opportunity. So you need to be sure, ask yourself, okay, what exactly qualifies this problem to be something that I can make money from? Start with the opportunity description. What's the customer paying? How painful is it? Who are your key customers? Sometimes you find that the end user and the end user and the buyer are different. So, for example, if you're creating a product for children, the children are the end users, but their parents are the buyers. So you need to focus on the customers or the buyers. What are their preferences and behaviors? How innovative is your product or service? Then you look at your revenue model and key assumptions. Ask yourself, okay, how will I make money? Is it subscription based? Is it commission based? Is it by listing? And then what are your cost structures? What are your key assumptions? When do you think you're going to break even? And how scalable is the business? Then you also need to look at risk factors and mitigation strategies. So for example, what could go wrong with this business? And then how are you going to prevent this from going wrong? Then you need your financial projections, income statement, balance sheet, and cash flow. So bottom line, at this phase, you need to ask yourself, is this opportunity attractive? Can you learn from it? And then what are the pitfalls? And the 6th phase is feasibility assessment. So Amara has launched with her Riverview professor, Dr. Rose Darigo, who asked her questions about her business model. So there's a framework. So when you use this framework, you should be able to identify or distinguish between a low potential business, a moderate potential business, and a high potential business. So first one, what's the value proposition? Is it cost? Is it quality? And how easy is it for you to deliver that value proposition given your current capabilities? Then you look at the business environment. Is this a good time? You can do a PESTEL analysis. PESTEL is political, economic, social, technological, environmental, and legal factors. So look at all these factors, how they affect your product, and ask yourself, is this a good time for me to start this business? So for example, in Nigeria, before the elections, everyone was jittery. So very few people were investing in the country. So but now people have a sense of what the government is about, and people have a sense of what the government is about, and so they're more able to more willing to invest and, take risks. Then the industry, Porter's 5 forces, there's a theory called the Porter's 5 forces theory that says you should assess your industry based on five factors. First of all, barrier to entry. Is it easy for people to just come in? If it's easy for anybody to enter your industry, then that's a low potential idea. Bargaining power of buyers. The buyers have a strong bargaining power, and then suppliers as well. What's the threat of substitutes? If there are a lot of substitutes for your business, again, that's a low potential idea. And then competitive rivalry. If there's a lot of competition in your industry, like in the airline industry, then that's like a low potential idea as well. Now you ask yourself, do you have a sustainable competitive advantage? So intellectual property, that's very key. Do you have a trade secret? Do you have IP? Have you trademarked anything that will prevent people from coming into your industry if you find out that it's a lucrative one? It could be a process, could be a capability or thereabouts. Then what's the economic logic of your business? Does it make sense? Have you done a revenue forecast? Have you looked at your customer acquisition cost? How much is it going to cost you to acquire a customer? If it's going to cost you 1,000 naira to acquire a customer and you can only make 500 naira from that customer, then that business does not make sense. There's no economic logic. How long is it going to take you to obtain a customer? Is it 5 months? Is it how long? Is it 5? Is it a month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months? What are your gross margins, projected gross margins? How much capital is required? And then when do you think you're going to break even? Then for your team, are you all on the same page? Do you have the same aspirations and risk propensity? Do you all have the same execution ability? And then what's the relationship like between all of you? Do you have synergy in the team and all that? So by the time you answer these questions, you rank them. You rank your business ideas based on whether it's a low potential, moderate potential, or high potential idea, and then now give you an assessment about the feasibility of your business. Then the next phase is creating a business plan. So what did Amara do? She and her team created a business plan. After conducting a market analysis, financial and marketing strategy, they concluded that the idea was profitable. So your business plan should start with your company overview. What's your vision? Mark Zuckerberg once said that the purpose of a business is not just to create a company, it's to change the world. So how is the business changing the world? What's the mission? What's your business model? How are you creating value? How are you delivering value? How are you capturing value? And what's your product? What are the benefits of the product? All this should be your content overview. Then your marketing plan should start with STP. STP is segmentation, targeting, and positioning. So you first of all find out who's your target market. Come up with like a buyer persona or a customer avatar that describes this target market in a lot of detail. For example, Sheon is my customer avatar is called Sheon. He's a 40-year-old man. He works in a bank. He has 3 children, and he will use this training marketplace called Get Fit because maybe he's trying to avert a midlife crisis, or he just recovered from an illness and he's trying to get back in shape, or So you should be able to define your target market in clear, vivid detail. Like, so you see, almost like a real, not almost like a real person, because the customers are actually real people. But you should have an ideal client avatar. Then your 4 Ps, the 4 Ps: product, price, place, and promotion. Those are all parts of your marketing plan. Then your operations plan, you should have a plan for your scope of operations, your team. If you're going to assemble a board, that's very important. And then financial plan, we've said this before, your financial projections, if you need funding, and then what are the risks of the business. Then phase 8, your branding strategy. So what did Amara do? She created an elevator page for Get Fit. Her teammate Bola designed the logo and a graphic identity. Her teammate Ben built the financial model, and then she now built the website as the CTO. So you have to you have to be very circumspect when you're picking choosing the name of your startup, and you need to consider you need to put a lot of things into consideration. So starting with the availability of the name, you check domain hosting companies, such as GoDaddy, Bluehost, and Namecheap. There's no sense in picking a name that someone else has used. It's still early days, so you can always be creative and tweak it so that you don't have to change it later on. Then you should pronounce it and see how it's make sure it's easy to pronounce. Then what are the positive associations? You can't be you have to make sure that the associations of the brand are positive, and especially if you plan to have your company go global, you have to make sure that maybe in China or in other parts of the world, that name does not have a negative association. If you translate it, it may be something that in Yoruba means peace or favor, but then in Chinese it means war or strife or conflict. So you make sure you avoid for controversial names. Then it has to be something that is easy to spell. It should be memorable, not too long. Then in addition, you also need to if you're coming up with a name, if you find yourself being stuck, you can brainstorm. You can also run a couple of names through social media, and just ask people if you're in groups, entrepreneurs are maybe your LinkedIn groups, Facebook groups, social media groups. You can always ask people, and they can pick the name that sounds catchiest. Okay, then you now need to build your 60-second elevator pitch. So in Nigeria, in Palomar precisely, there's a building that houses a bank, a first generation bank, as well as the head office of one of Africa's richest men. So assuming you're a bank customer, one day you might find yourself in the elevator, and then lo and behold, the CEO of that one of Africa's richest men, one I spoke about, might enter the elevator at the same time you enter the elevator, and then you have 60 seconds to impress him with what your business is about. So the question is, will you be ready? What do you have rehearsed? It shouldn't be something that will be spontaneous, or you start thinking about it in the elevator. It's something that you need to have at your fingertips, so that if you're even waking up from sleep, you can ask them. So, a good template for an elevator pitch is you start with the problem. So as you can see, between this pain point and this pain point, this is a challenge that no one should have to face alone. So then you move on to what you do. You say, I help this XYZ target persons achieve this goal through a combination of, what are your offerings? Then talk about your unique selling proposition. So you say, not only my own differentiators are not only 1 and 2, but also you mentioned the advantage, and then talk about your results. So over 1,000 clients have achieved success with my help, and you can too. And then have a CTA call to action. So ask for a sign up, ask for a meeting, ask for an introduction, ask for an investment, or whatever is appropriate at that time, and depending on who your audience is. So that's how to build your elevator pitch. Then next, your brand identity is very important. There are 12 brand archetypes that are used to classify companies according to their branding. So we have, if your company, for example, is focused on innovation, then you're like, you can see the schematic on the slide. If your company is focused on innovation, as I'm sure many of you on the call, the company is focused on innovation, then you're a creator brand, and then examples of creator brands are Apple. If your company is focused on control, then you're a ruler brand. An example of a ruler brand is like Hugo Boss, as you can already see Boss in the title. I think Microsoft is also a ruler brand because they also always want to be market leaders in whatever industry, whatever sector they're competing in. If your company is focused on service, then you're a caregiver brand like UNICEF and so on, Mother Teresa and so on. Those are all service brands. If your company is focused on belonging, then you're like an everyman brand. An everyman brand in Nigeria is IKEA there. IKEA is more of a foreign company. In Nigeria, Indomie is an everyman brand. Chicken Republic is an everyman brand. You know, these are brands that try to be relatable to the general public. And so, you know, that's their branding, that everybody can afford them and that they're simple and ordinary. Then if your brand is focused on intimacy, that's the lover brand. So something like Victoria's Secret. Victoria's Secret is a lover brand because they sell lingerie and all that. Then if your brand is focused on mastery, you're a hero brand. So like Nike, you know, just do it. You know, Nike all about athleticism and strength and endurance. So that's like a hero brand. So that's a mastery brand. If your brand is focused on power, then you're a magician brand. You know, you're all about doing things differently and creating wow moments. So that's like Disney. Disney with their parks, you know, they bring the impossible to life with their fairy tales and all that. So that's a magician brand. If your company is focused on liberation, you know, exploration, freedom, then outlaw or a rebel brand like Harley Davidson. Harley Davidson is a motorcycle brand, you know, so that they're trying to liberate you from conventional cars like Toyotas and all that. They're trying to break out and embrace your inner rebel. So that's Harley Davidson, you know. And if your brand is focused on knowledge, or a sage brand like Harvard, BBC, MIT, those are all sage brands. And if your brand is focused on safety, you're an innocent brand, so like Dove or you know, thereabouts. So you need to be able to, there's so much information about this online, unfortunately, because I have only have less than 5 minutes to go, so I can't go into too much detail, but you need to be able to locate what your brand is. It affects the color of your brand, it affects your brand voice, it affects your messaging, it affects people you even pick as influencers to promote your brand. It affects so much. So you need to create your brand identity. Okay, and then you also need to create an MVP. Of course, after having defined what your name is and your branding, then you can now bring your MVP to life. It could be a physical good, could be software, or it could be a service. Okay, so next, the 9th phase is test marketing. So Amara, how did she test market her marketplace? She sent the link to the website to her blog followers, and a good number of them signed up. So based on her interactions with those people that signed up, she was able to review her prices and update her business plan. So for you as a startup founder, you should be doing your test marketing. You should be trying to achieve the elusive goal of product market fit. Product market fit means being in a market that product market fit means having a good product that can satisfy the needs of the market that you find yourself in. So the way you achieve product market fit is that you first of all start with the hypothesis. So for example, you hypothesize who is the potential customer of this product. For Amara, she may think a potential customer will be middle-aged housewives that live in Ikoyi, for example. And she'll run a test, like an advertisement on Instagram, and then she may find out that actually people that are signing up for her marketplace are young undergraduates in Unilag or Akoka or Covenant. So she now has to pivot her business model and realize that, okay, if she wants product market fit, the people that she's supposed to be focusing on are the undergraduates in Nigerian universities. So yeah. Then next stage is phase 10 is to build your team. Amara hired Bola as her marketing lead. She had Ben as her CFO. Then she asked her former boss, Sandra, to be on her advisory board. So you need to know there's a difference between a team and a group. A team is an assembly of people with a common advantage, common goal, objective, while a group is just, you know, people that just find themselves together in one place. So ask yourself, people working with you, are you a team or are you a group? What are you trying to achieve? Do you all have that same goal in mind? Mark Zuckerberg, when he first started Facebook, they had an offer from someone that was trying to acquire the company. And then he was so surprised to see that everyone wanted him to accept the offer. He said, no, I'm trying to build something that will last and will leave a legacy. And he lost 90% of his team because, you know, those people, he later realized they were just there for the financial upside. So to make sure that doesn't happen to you, make sure you pick people. If all you want is exit, everybody should be on that same page. If what you want is to build to last, everybody should also be on that same page. Then you need to assign team roles. There are different kinds of people with different kinds of contributions to a team. You have idea people, you have people that will do the sales, you have action people that will do the execution. And you know, so that you should have one of each at least. There's an instrument called the Belbin team inventory. Belbin team inventory that helps to you can administer. Let me type in the chat. Belbin team inventory. If you Google, you can find this on, and I'm typing in the chat now. Okay, so yeah, you can administer. Okay, so I've been warned by the moderator that we have a few minutes, so I'll just have to wrap up. Okay, so that will help you assign people to different roles. Your co-founders, make sure that you have a strong agreement that regulates the relationship with your co-founders, including a competition restriction clause, so that they don't, if you have a fallout, they don't leave the company and go and set up a competing company. There should be a clause restricting that kind of behavior. Then also you need to appoint advisors. There's a document called the FAST agreement. I'm typing it in the chat. FAST agreement is by Founders Institute, and then it helps you onboard advisors, helps you assign maybe 0.1, 0.5%, 1% to them, depending on their degree of involvement. Then your entrepreneurial strategy. I'm a registered Get Fit as a partner to the National Trainers Association as part of our value chain strategy. So there are three kinds of entrepreneurial strategies. There's value chain. Value chain means you cooperate with the incumbents in your industry. Disruption means you, of course, disrupt and you compete with the incumbents. While blue ocean strategy means you have no incumbents in the industry. So research shows that value chain companies that adopt the value chain strategy, they succeed more than people that adopt either disruptive or blue ocean strategy. So yeah, so that was the strategy adopted by Amara. Then finally, legal incorporation. It's most people rush and do this first, but if you're too quick to incorporate your company, you might incorporate it with the wrong name, a name that the market doesn't want, or the wrong service, or or even the wrong team. So at this point, Amara was comfortable enough to ask her friend Martha to incorporate the legal entity. And there's so many, you can have either a sole proprietorship, a partnership, or a limited liability company. But if you want to raise VC capital and grow a huge company, then limited liability is the way to go. All right. So at this point, you can take a breath, take a deep breath, inhale, exhale, and then have your launch party, because you've managed to create something that has substance, that's not just an idea, but actually has legs. And then now the real work of scaling begins. So I'm happy to take questions. People have been asking for my email address and my number. You can reach me at www.gloryinaya.com. Send me an email, glory@gloryinaya.com. And then that's my phone number there. So it's a pleasure to have spoken to you all. I'm happy to take questions now.
Wow. I think that was a roller coaster. That was a roller coaster. And again, I think, again, we've lived up to the promise to say there's none of the sessions we come to the never is never enough. Yes, Marsh was too fast. I agree with you. Even I, with 15 years entrepreneurship experience, was trying to do a catch up with her. And of course, we will come back. And this happens when people have got so much and they've got 35 minutes to give this. Again, it becomes close to being possible. But I can tell you that Glory is coming back. I can guarantee that. I can tell you up front that we're going to have her back because it was explosive. It was just too explosive. And I see people praying for her. And she will take a few questions now. And so just to all our viewers across all the platforms, drop your questions. We'll use the next 10 minutes to take questions because we like to respect your time. We promise 5 to 6. We will try to make sure that we end at the hour. And that's why, again, I said it's always good you go to the link has been dropped in the chat box. Should you want to see the recording of this session so you can play it at your own pace and listen to it and write the questions you want to send to on an email, because a question that you have not becomes an issue. So take time to go to the link, and then you can go to www.ecoicenter.com/webinar. You will find the recording and the slides also on there. By 12 noon tomorrow, it will be up. ecoicenter.com/webinar. You will find it there. The slides will be there. The video recordings will be there. By 12 noon tomorrow, we should have had that. The other thing, again, is you have questions, you're wondering how to be able to reach, just feel free to be able to, our details are in the chat room. You can copy it there. Go to the chat room, Margaret. The other thing you can also be able to do is, in case you have questions, you can shoot our email, or you can also join the TechBiz forum on Telegram, on WhatsApp, and then you can be able to ask questions, and ourselves and so many of us will be able to answer. But let me jump into the question, because that was explosive, roller coaster, just too much in a short while. But Glory, somebody's fast agreement. Somebody wants you to explain what the concept of fast means again. Do you want to take that as a first question?
Okay. So fast means
Glory,
founder
fast,
advisor.
F-A-S-T.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Founder advisor standard template. It's
yes, we can. We can.
It was created. Okay, yes, I said fast means founder advisor standard template. It was created by Founder Institute, and it's what it is that it says if you're at, depending on the stage you're at and the involvement of the level of involvement of the advisor, it now suggests to you how much equity to give the person. So maybe you're at the idea stage. Idea stage means there's a lot of work to be done, and you want the person to be attending weekly meetings and all that. Maybe you give the advisor maybe 2%. It's objective. It's an objective way of because many people come to me and say, how much capital equity should I give my advisor? So that template, it actually just breaks it down. If you, depending on the stage you're in and the level of involvement of the advisor, it gives you an idea or a benchmark to use and engage your advisor. So that's what that template is.
Yeah, and that's quite instructive, because again, a lot of people struggle because we don't have coaches, advisors, mentors, people that can provide handholding. The greatest challenge you will experience in this environment is the fact that handholding is a requirement for an environment with so much institutional challenges like we have in here. So you need to stand on the shoulder of giants to conquer. And I think if there's nothing you're taking away, you should know that you need advisors, and this kind of agreement actually helps. Let's another question, Glory. I think this is coming from LinkedIn. How do you recommend I balance the need of my startup for rapid growth with the importance of building a strong foundation and sustainable business model? This is from LinkedIn. How do you recommend I balance the need of my startup for rapid growth with the Are you there?
Yes. You said, how do you recommend? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Go ahead.
Okay, great. So it depends on the type of business. I teach e-commerce and platforms, and many people here are tech startups. So let me say, for example, and because it's LinkedIn, I can't put you on mute. So let me just assume it's a marketplace. Many of the if you're building a marketplace, you need to resist the temptation to scale too quickly. Make sure you do your groundwork, build, like you said, a strong foundation and a sustainable business model. And let me tell you some of the things you need to look out for. Firstly, you need to make sure when you build your MVP, don't launch it like, don't throw it open to the world immediately. Do a product launch at first. And during the product launch, you're making sure that that you achieve a conversion rate of 30% before you now go public with a startup. with your new business. And that conversion rate means if three of your target customers come to your website, one person should be able to initiate a transaction. Or if three people download your app, one person should be able to complete a transaction. It prevents you from falling into trouble that larger companies, I won't mention names, but larger companies that are listed on the stock exchange, they're not profitable because the business economics were not sound from the beginning. People just had a lot of visitors. Many people were coming to the site. There were no conversions. They were not converting at a substantial level. So, to answer your question, how you balance it is if you have to choose between the two, rapid growth or sustainable business model, I would choose a sustainable business model, because if you pursue rapid growth and the business model is not sustainable, once you run out of venture capital, that business is dead. There's no need firing on all rockets, especially in this economy where gestation period for startups is very, very long compared to in developed countries. So I would advise that you go for building a sustainable business that has sound unit economics, so that you're not just chasing fundraising, moving from one fundraising round to the other, but you actually have a business that has a life of its own and can grow in a sustainable manner. Okay, I hope that was helpful.
Yeah, quite helpful. And again, one of the things I share with people is that the business landscape, it's the business itself, it's a marathon, not a sprint. I think so many people are quickly want to show their success, show their results. They're quick, to say that, oh, I've gotten it right. But there are many dynamics that happens in business. And so when you have this very long futuristic view about the lifetime of a business, it allows you to take more quality decisions. It allows you to make the right trade-offs, and so, like she said, build a big sustainable business that is properly structured, because again, there'll be headwinds. We've had investment winter in the last 3 years thereabouts. Since after COVID hit, most startups are struggling. They're not having so many investments, so many commitments of raises. People are not coming through with payments and checks, and so the only businesses that are going to survive or weather the storm are the ones that have sustainable business models that are really creating value and not living on investors' funds, but are really having good traction and scaling. So, just to lend my voice to what Glory is saying, think marathon, think long-term, think sustainability, and you're likely going to win. Let me get another question as we round up in 2 minutes. We'll take the last question today. Who's the lucky person? If I have can I have a startup with another name as a product by the and can I have a startup with another name as a product by the agency? Glory, do you get that?
Yes, I did. So you said if you already have an agency incorporated, can you have a startup with another name as a product by the agency? Okay, yes. Well, it is, yes. Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can. Go ahead, Glory.
Okay, yes, it's possible to have a startup with a different name as a product by an existing agency. Many companies operate multiple brands or products under their umbrella, each with its own distinct name and identity. So this is the approach I'm recommending. So first, identify the product or service that you want to offer as a startup under a different name. Then second, create a separate brand identity for the startup, including a unique name, logo, and overall branding. Then third, ensure that the new startup's branding aligns with the product or the service that you're offering. Then also, you can consider registering the new name as a trademark to protect your brand. Then also you need to clarify the legal and organizational structure for the startup. So determine if it will be a subsidiary of the existing agency or a separate entity altogether. Then you set up the necessary infrastructure and resources for the startup, such as a dedicated team, marketing strategies, and operational processes. And then you need to clearly communicate the relationship between this agency and the startup to avoid confusion among stakeholders, clients, and customers. But in addition to what I've said, it's also important for you to consult with legal and business professionals so that you can comply with the law and address any specific requirements in Nigeria. So yeah, I hope that was helpful. Hello, Mr. Folabi, can you still hear me?
Yeah, helpful. Yeah, we can. Thank you so much. That was quite helpful. And I think Adomi also got the gist, and he's been able to say thank you all that. And you will find everything by 12 noon tomorrow. But again, on the hour, we're just 2 minutes after the hour. We like to respect your time. I want to say a big thank you to Glory. She comes with tremendous amount of experience, and everybody's saying thank you to in the chat room. She's super sound at what she does, and again, no wonder that she has all the accolades. She has all the awards under her belt, and she's done a fantastic job. And we want to thank you very much for your time. We're not taking this for granted, coming to this platform and helping add value. I think today we had close to 200 people across all the platforms, and you've been able to add value to, again, startups, will-be startups, early venture builders, about how to be able to navigate, and you have been able to contribute in your own quota to improving the survival rate of startups in the ecosystem, and we're quite grateful for that. Thank you very, very much, Glory. We appreciate your time. And to everybody who was a part of TechBiz today, was brought to you from the staple of Eco Innovation Center, an innovation center that offers acceleration and acceleration services for startups in the ecosystem, big on civic tech. We want to say thank you for being a part of this. We look forward to having you again sometime last Thursday of the month of July, which will be the second half of the year. Just a few of our programs coming up. Do feel free to join Macac. My colleagues will drop the Macac invitation for those who are still on. We have one of the hackathons for marketing and media, which is one of the things we do in Eco Innovation for the ecosystem. It's in Orientals, it's free admission. Feel free to join us for Macac, and evening of product demos in Orientals Hotel. 2.0 Macac finals, they've dropped it. Feel free, come invite your friend, and let's see part of the innovative ideas disrupting marketing and media. We also have quite a number of things coming up, boot camp for children, for teens. Go to the website of Eco Innovation Center and you'll get good information about all this when you log on. And feel free to always send us a message, drop something in the WhatsApp chat, something you want us to share, or a topic you think is important you want us to look at, just like we've seen what the value that Gloria has brought in today. I'll be able to do that. So again, it's been a pleasure bringing you this edition of TechBiz, the 99th edition. My name remains Victor Benga-Folabi, the founder of Eco Innovation Center, and I count it a privilege to have hosted you this evening. Thank you very much, and thank you for our guests for granting the platform again, Glory. And I do hope to catch up with every one of you sometime later. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and do have a lovely weekend starting from tomorrow. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you so much, Mr. Folabi.
Thank you.